My name is Kıvanç Kuzey Dikici, and I am a sophomore computer science student at Bilkent University. For my Physics 101 project, I aim to investigate the relationship between the length of the string and the mass of the pendulum bob in determining the period of a pendulum. And here are the equipments I am going to use: timer, string, retort stand, paper and pen, and finally pendulum bob. Here is my project setup. First, I tied a rope that I assumed to be zero weight to the retort stand. Then I measured the bob's weight and tied to the end of the rope. In the next step, I adjusted the angle between the fixed point at the top of the rope and the oscillation point to an angle smaller than 5 degrees with the help of a protractor. The reason I did this was to obtain more accurate data, since in the smaller angles we know that sin theta is equal to theta. After completing the experiment setup, I started the experiment by making the length of the string 20 centimeters. With the help of my friends, I started the stopwatch when the object started moving and stopped the time at the end of the fifth oscillation. I repeated the experiment 3 times to minimize the errors related to air friction and setup. And finally, I took notes of the values I found. Then I repeated the same procedure by making the length of the string 30 centimeters. The aim here was to see the effect of the length of the spring on the period. Then I set 15 centimeters and made the weights of the pendulum bob 10 and 100 grams respectively, and repeated each experiment 3 times. When I compared the data I found with the theoretical period, I saw that the errors were small enough. Here we can see the formula of the period. These errors are caused by both human-induced and air friction. Finally, I filled in the plots afterward, and as we can see, the mass of the pendulum bob has no role in the period. The experiment successfully demonstrated that the period of the pendulum is primarily determined by the length of the string and gravitational acceleration, with no significant impact from the mass of the bob, as expected from the theoretical formula. Despite slight variations in the measured values due to the experiment errors and human errors, the results reinforce the concept that, in an ideal scenario, mass does not influence the period of oscillation. This conclusion aligns with the principles of simple harmonic motion, where the period depends solely on the length of the pendulum and the gravity. Thank you for listening.